Okay, so far we've done this correlation analysis, and we've made the conclusion that based on these 9 participants, or these 9 pairs of observations, openness is strongly correlated with number of past romantic partners. But what if we have a different sample? Would we get similar results? These two variables are still correlated with each other, or are still strongly and positively correlated with each other. So in other words, we want to have an extra test to see whether this observed correlation is a true correlation, or it is just a bias, observation bias. And again, here we come to the significance testing. We are so familiar with this, this test and this whole procedure. So the question here we want to ask is, does this observed correlation, positive 0.879, indicate a true relationship in the whole population, or is it just an observation bias? So in other words, if we're gonna recruit another sample, are we gonna get similar results? So let's go through this significance procedure. I think you guys are familiar with it. I'm pretty sure that you guys can kind of work through this whole procedure without any instruction from me. But let's talk about it. So first, we want to set the null hypothesis. So we're going to assume that the population correlation coefficient, something we use this Greek letter rho to denote it. So we are going to assume that the population correlation coefficient is 0. That is our null hypothesis. And based on this null hypothesis, we are going to calculate the t-value here for this correlation. So in this situation, we're going to use a different equation to calculate the t-value for this correlation. So here I have the equation here. You don't need to remember it. I'll give you guys this formula in the exam. So we plug in the numbers. The correlation, we have calculated it in last slide. N is the number of observations, that is 9 in our case. And here we plug in this R value again, and this gives us the final t value 5.22. Again, this formula will be given in the exam, so you don't need to worry about it. And third, we are gonna find the critical value given this degree of freedom. So please note that degree of freedom in this case, in this correlation coefficient testing, is n-2 instead of n-1, because we have two data points. And after checking the t-table, we found the critical t-value given the degree of freedom of 7 at a significance level of 0.05, and with a two-tailed test design is 2.365, and our obtained t-value is apparently larger than this critical t-value. So we are going to indicate that this observed R value indicates a true relationship about the whole population instead of an observation error. So which means that we can not only claim openness positively predicts or is strongly related with number of X, we can also claim that this is a true relationship. So openness significantly or truly predicts number of romantic partners in the past. Okay, so again, first we calculate the correlation. We have the conclusion that these two variables are positively and strongly correlated with each other. And the second test, this significant test, is telling us or allowing us to make a conclusion that this observed correlation truly exists. It's a significant relationship. Okay, so I hope this is pretty clear for you guys. If everything is clear, and that is all I have for this lecture, and here is the practice question for you guys. So remember, I give you guys 3 sample questions we can answer by using this correlation analysis. And we have addressed the first one. Does openness predict or affect the number of past romantic partners? And we also have two left. Does number of past romantic partners affect people's marriage satisfaction? And the third question we had at the beginning of the class is, does marriage satisfaction affect people's professional competency? So pick one question of your best interest and examine the correlation coefficient between the two variables. Or you could just pick any two variables of your best interest, such as whether people's openness is correlated with people's professional competence, or is people's openness personality correlated with people's marriage satisfaction. So pick any two variables of your interest and test their correlation. So answer the question, how is the relationship between these two variables of your choice, and also use the significance test to examine whether this is a true relationship or not. And here I have the data set for you guys. So we have 9 people here, and each person provides 4 data points. Their openness personality, how many exes they had in the past, their marriage satisfaction, and their professional competence. Pick 2 and examine their correlation coefficient, and I'm looking forward to your answers.